Imagine this. 30% of the world's billionaires never finished college. That's right. 1 in 3 of the richest people around took a different route to success. Surprised? You're not alone. Today we're diving into a world where dropping out is a stepping stone, not a setback. We'll explore the stories of 6 millionaires who left college behind and went on to build empires. You'll discover how their decision to leave school set them on paths that reshaped industries and changed the game. Ever wonder what drives someone to abandon a traditional education and still hit it big? We'll uncover the secret strategies they use to turn their bold choices into extraordinary success. From hustling through tough times to self-education and innovating the future, these dropouts didn't follow the usual path. They created their own. Get ready to be inspired by stories of risk, resilience, and revolutionary thinking. Buckle up, because these aren't just tales of wealth. They're lessons in daring to dream big and thinking differently. Chapter 1. Breaking the mold, the decision to drop out. Dropping out of college isn't a decision most people take lightly, but for some of the world's most successful millionaires, it was a pivotal moment that shaped their future. Take Steve Jobs, for example. He dropped out of Reed College after just 6 months, but that didn't stop him from revolutionizing the tech industry. Why? Because he knew that traditional education wasn't the only way to learn. In fact, studies show that nearly 30% of the world's billionaires never finished college. It's not just about leaving school. It's about what they do after. Mark Zuckerberg left Harvard to focus on Facebook, which now has over 2.9 billion monthly active users. He saw an opportunity that was bigger than any degree. What drives these individuals to break away from the norm? It's a mix of confidence, vision, and an intolerance for the status quo. They don't just see things as they are. They see what they could be. Elon Musk once said, "When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor." That mindset is key. These dropouts weren't reckless. They were calculated. They knew that success wasn't guaranteed, but they were willing to bet on themselves. It's a strategy that paid off. For them, dropping out was not an end but the beginning of something extraordinary. Chapter 2. Unconventional paths, hustling through the hardships. Once they left college, these future millionaires didn't have it easy. Their journeys were full of grit, grind, and a lot of trial and error. Take Richard Branson, who dropped out of school at 16. He started his first business selling records by mail order from a church basement. It wasn't glamorous, but it worked. This phase is all about hustle. These individuals weren't afraid to roll up their sleeves and do whatever it took. Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx, sold fax machines door to door before her billion-dollar idea took off. It's in these early struggles that they learned the value of perseverance. A study by the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor found that 25% of entrepreneurs start their businesses with less than $5,000. For many, it's about using what you have, not waiting for the perfect moment. It's a strategy of resourcefulness, where creativity often replaces cash. These future millionaires also understood the power of networking. Bill Gates might have dropped out of Harvard, but he kept close ties with the people who could help him. He used those connections to build Microsoft into a software giant. It wasn't just what they knew, it was who they knew. The road was never smooth, but they navigated it with determination and adaptability. Their early years were marked by a relentless pursuit of their goals, no matter how far off they seemed. It's a lesson in grit that anyone can learn from. Before we continue, hit subscribe and let's dive back into the fun. Chapter 3. Visionaries without a degree. Innovating the future. Leaving college didn't mean these dropouts stopped learning. In fact, stepping away from formal education gave them the freedom to innovate in ways that others couldn't. They weren't bound by traditional thinking, and that's exactly what allowed them to change the world. Steve Jobs, who had no formal engineering education, was a master at merging technology with design. His vision for Apple wasn't just about making computers. It was about making beautiful, user-friendly devices that people loved. He famously said, "People don't know what they want until you show it to them." That's the power of innovation. These individuals were able to think outside the box because they were outside the system. They didn't have professors telling them what was or wasn't possible. Instead, they explored new ideas on their own terms. Jeff Bezos, who briefly attended Princeton before dropping out, revolutionized e-commerce with Amazon. He didn't just follow trends, he created them. A report by the Kauffman Foundation found that 35% of entrepreneurs who started high-growth businesses didn't have a college degree. This underscores a critical point. Innovation doesn't require a diploma. It requires a mindset that's willing to challenge the status quo and take risks. These dropouts didn't see their lack of a degree as a barrier. Instead, they used it as a catalyst for creativity. They weren't afraid to push boundaries and explore new frontiers. Their success wasn't about what they knew. It was about how they thought, and that's what set them apart. Chapter 4. The self-education formula, learning beyond the classroom. Just because they dropped out of college doesn't mean these millionaires stopped learning. In fact, leaving the traditional education system often fueled their desire to learn in unconventional ways. Warren Buffett, one of the world's wealthiest people, is a voracious reader. He famously spends about 80% of his day reading. His advice? Read 500 pages like this every day. That's how knowledge works. It builds up like compound interest. Self-education became a key strategy for these individuals. They didn't wait for someone to teach them. They sought out knowledge on their own. Elon Musk learned rocket science by reading books and reaching out to experts. He didn't need a degree. He needed information, and he knew how to find it. According to the National Bureau of Economic Research, individuals who engage in lifelong learning are more likely to be successful entrepreneurs. This continuous learning approach is what set these millionaires apart. They understood that the world is their classroom, and they never stopped being students. They also leveraged mentors to accelerate their learning. Bill Gates often credits his mentor, Warren Buffett, with teaching him about business and philanthropy. It's a reminder that learning doesn't always come from books. It can also come from relationships. These self-taught millionaires also embraced failure as part of their education. Richard Branson once said, "You don't learn to walk by following rules. You learn by doing and by falling over." For them, mistakes weren't setbacks. They were valuable lessons that shaped their future successes. Chapter 5. Empowering the Next Generation. Teaching without a syllabus. After finding their own paths to success, many of these dropouts became passionate about teaching others. They didn't need a classroom or a syllabus to share their knowledge. Instead, they used their experiences to empower the next generation of entrepreneurs. Take Sarah Blakely, for example. She turned her success with Spanx into a platform to support female entrepreneurs. She's committed to helping women take the leap into business, offering advice and funding through her foundation. Her message is clear. You don't need a degree to make a difference. These millionaires often focus on practical, real-world advice, rather than theoretical knowledge. Elon Musk is known for his hands-on approach to mentoring, often challenging those around him to think critically and innovate. He once said, "I think it is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary." His teachings are less about what you know and more about how you think. Interestingly, a study by the World Economic Forum found that 65% of children entering primary school today will work in jobs that don't yet exist. This underscores the importance of non-traditional education, something these dropouts have been advocating for years. They're not just teaching skills, they're teaching adaptability and resilience. They also emphasize the importance of giving back. Many, like Mark Zuckerberg, have pledged to donate the majority of their wealth to philanthropy. They understand that true success isn't just about personal gain, it's about making a positive impact on the world. Their teachings often reflect this, encouraging others to use their success to help others. Chapter 6. Thinking Different. The Mindset of a Millionaire Dropout. The most important asset these millionaire dropouts have isn't their wealth, it's their mindset. They see the world differently, and that's what allows them to achieve what others might think is impossible. Steve Jobs famously said, "Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers. Because the ones who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." This mindset is characterized by a few key traits: optimism, resilience, and an unshakable belief in their vision. They don't let obstacles deter them. Instead, they see challenges as opportunities. A study by Stanford University found that having a growth mindset, the belief that abilities can be developed, is a key factor in success. These dropouts embody that mindset. They also practice what psychologists call strategic optimism. This means setting high expectations and taking concrete steps to meet them, while remaining flexible in the face of setbacks. Elon Musk's journey with SpaceX is a perfect example. Despite multiple failed rocket launches, he persisted, and now SpaceX is a leader in space exploration. Another important aspect of their mindset is their willingness to embrace uncertainty. Richard Branson once said, "If somebody offers you an amazing opportunity, but you are not sure you can do it, say yes, then learn how to do it later." This approach allows them to seize opportunities that others might pass up. Finally, these millionaires understand the importance of staying true to their vision, even when others doubt them. When Jeff Bezos started Amazon, many thought the idea of an online bookstore was crazy. Today, Amazon is one of the most valuable companies in the world. His success was rooted in his unwavering belief in his vision and his ability to think long-term. Subscribe and ring the bell to be the first to know when we post new content.